Hello guys, and welcome to another video of ranking nerf lines. Finally, Alpha Strike finally gets its show after losing like 8 weeks in a row. I do a poll. If you want to vote on my next rankings video, you can do that. And if you do not know, I do a rankings video every week, usually. And I have a ton of them at this point. Elite 2.0, Rebel, Rival. I have a playlist on my channel. Hopefully you guys go and see. But today we're ranking Alpha Strike. There are 17 blasters in this line. And honestly, this is one of the worst lines nerf ever made. So let's just get to it and see what it is all about, shall we? Starting off with 17, the uppercut. The uppercut, I did a 100-yard challenge video on it. Also a playlist on my channel. The uppercut is a jolt without a trigger. And it's just a hamp. It's fun, but it's useless. And I don't think you could ever actually pull off a hit with this thing because it's so inaccurate. So yeah, it's just a really bad jolt. So 17th. 16th. The Vanguard LR1. This thing is bonkers, to say the least. Dart storage on top. Dart storage on the stock. That stock doesn't even exist. That stock is way too small. Front handle for a blaster that doesn't really need a front handle is just too small. It's like not even much bigger than a pistol. And I think it only fires like 1 or 2 rounds. This thing is insane for no reason. Like, if it was pump action, it would be way better. But no, it's T-pole in the back. It just doesn't make much sense. Its ergonomics are awful. Doesn't take a magazine or a clip. So the big, wide window just doesn't even make any sense. This blaster is just bad in all regards. 16th. 15th. The Tiger. DB2. I did another 100-yard challenge video on this one. And if you do not know, I ripped the priming bar, the priming handle off of it. You do not know this is a shotgun pump, holds 2 rounds, prime fire. It's okay. Skeletonized handle, which are terrible. I just wrapped mine with tape, but it just feels awful. The trigger, terrible. All the triggers are honestly terrible. There's not a single good trigger in this line, except like 1 or 2. And guess what? They're probably going to be at the top. But yeah, it's just really easy to rip off the pump grip. I mean, you can snap it back on, but it's just really cheaply made, and it's only 2 shots for a rifle, so I see no point. 15th. 14th. The better version of it, the Big Cat DB2. Fixed the handle by putting a blue thing over it, and it's blue. And I like blue more. It's still the same blaster. It just has a better handle. 13. The Wolf LR1. This thing is a really crazy looking sniper. It fires 1 shot, built-in scope. But to be honest, it's a rifle, and there is like no rifles with an actual decent stock on this list. So this one takes 13th with a 1-shot sniper rifle. It's not good. Still has its issues with its handle, trigger, and built-in scope is just bad. 12. Same thing, but again, fix the handle, so that's something. So 12. 11. The Mako RC6. This one actually looks interesting to me. But yet again, T-pole. Everything's T-pole. This is a 6-shot blaster. Handle's fixed, but also there's also more space where the plastic's is gone, where the trigger is, and that looks like that's going to dig into your hand and not feel good. And again, why wasn't this pump action, to say the least? This should have been pump action. And 6 rounds in the stock, and the side round ones are just bad. Also, the stock is way too short yet again. And why is there black on this blaster? 11. Don't worry, guys. I'll tell you when it gets good. At number 10, this thing. This is a shitty version of a Strife. I've seen someone make a video on this and say this is the new cheap Strife. This is not a replacement to the Strife in any shape or form. That handle is a brick. The trigger is probably one of the worst triggers of all this line. It's so clunky. The stock isn't even that long. It does not look comfy. It has issues with loading magazines. And what is that front handle? I mean, I know the battery's going there, but that thing is chonky for no reason. At least it has a barrel lug, right? Jam doors is bad too. Just overall, this thing is terrible. It's an electric blaster. I don't care. This thing is awful. 10. 9. This one is actually a little bit cool. I do like this one. This one, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, this one is a break action, I believe. Because I don't know how else to load it unless the other side has a big window open, which it might. Break action, one shot, pump action. Scope, but the scope is really small. Built-in storage and has the good storage. Decent storage, at least. For 6 rounds. Stock is not bad. Smaller blaster for a child. Still issues with the trigger and handle being skeletonized. But it's okay. I mean, I would have fun with it. But this is still crap. It's still bad, but it's something. 8. The optic. The optic. It's 4 rounds. T-pole yet again. Fixed its handle, but still has issues with the trigger and having way less plastic that it needs right there. So it digs into your hand. And there's a massive scope, built-in scope on a pistol. Why? Why is there a built-in scope on a pistol? This blaster probably would have been way better if it didn't have a built-in scope. It's 8. Because why? It's just a... These scopes aren't even good. They're just a tube of plastic. The 4 rounds is not bad, but the scope just makes it way worse. 7. The Cobra. This is where we get into the okay category, like it's fine. This is just a cheap version of a 6-shot pistol. I have one. I made mine actual shotgun, which will be on the 100-yard challenge eventually. This is fine. Still problems with the handle and trigger, but if you can get by that, it's an okay 6-round T-pole blaster, and the cylinder does rotate, so overall it's just a cheap, really cheap 6-shot pistol. So 7. 6, even better. The Fang is a 4-shot without the scope pistol, and I have one of these, and this thing is actually really, really good. This is actually a pretty decent blaster. For a sidearm, it's pretty good. It's small, it's compact, it's good. But the barrels are way too short. They stick out too far, making them inaccurate, so it's still just an okay blaster. 5th is the same thing as the 6-shot, but blue, fixing the handle, of course. 4, fix the handle. Still issues with the trigger and stuff, though. So, yeah, the blue ones are just better. But definitely, this is probably the best pistol in this line if you want to pick it up. Well, the best sidearm pistol. But it's not even worth it. This line's dead, and honestly, if you see this at a thrift store, you only pick it up if you just want to see it, because it's not worth it. 3. The Slinger. This is the actual Jolt version. It's just a Jolt, but this is actually an upgrade from the original Jolt, in my opinion, because it hits maybe slightly harder, about the same, but the thing is, it has about 1/4 of an inch that the dart does not have any grip on the barrel, but it's perfect size for brass. You can just slide brass barrel into that first little bit, and it will stay, and it's, like, locked in. Like, I got this thing from hitting 50 to 75 because of that little slit of brass. So yeah, it's crazy. This is actually just an evolved version of the Jolt, and it's better than the Jolt in my opinion. 3. 2. The yellow version. This is the version I have. It's just cool. You can also rip off the yellow part and make it way smaller. An actual, like, just bare bones Jolt. Pretty much is what it is. And I do like the handle on this guy. It's more comfy than the Jolt. To 2. So what is number 1 in the Alpha Strike line? Number 1. The Hammer Storm. The Hammer Storm is the best thing that came out of this line, even though, honestly, I wouldn't give it much more than an okay blaster, just because how big it is. It is a hammer action blaster, holds 8 rounds, 8 rounds of onboard storage, the only good trigger in this entire line, and a decent handle. It holds, like I said, 8 rounds. It's hammer action. It fires well. It hits pretty hard, actually. It's pretty impressive. And yes, with that, Hammer Storm, number 1, hands down, the best plush that came out of this line, just because the other handles and triggers just ruined this cheap line Nerf tried to do. It was awful. This is the only good one because they actually did it right. And it's actually a pretty impressive hammer action blaster. The only thing that makes this thing bad is because how big it is. It is a massive pistol. But if you're a kid and you're just going to run onto the field with a single pistol, you'll actually have a lot of fun with this. I actually do want one eventually. And with that, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you check out my channel. See you next time. Bye-bye.